afternoon and welcome to First Financial Biz Beat presented by the Business Courier. I'm Kyla Woods. The coronavirus is dramatically changing the landscape of pretty much every business. The hotel industry is feeling it as much as anyone else. On the front page centerpiece this week, the tri-state hotel boom comes to a sudden stop. There's been a crush of hotel development in Cincinnati over the last 10 years. Prior to that, a new hotel had not opened downtown for 3 decades. When the virus hit, there were 14 active projects in the area, and that doesn't include what was to become of the Millennium Hotel. But now, a number of them in the planning phase are on hold, and developers say some of the projects won't come back. The Lytle Park Hotel was ready to go. Linens were pressed and the kitchen was testing its Italian meals, and then the pandemic happened. Courier reporter Tom Demoropoulos talked about how hotels can weather this storm with Mike Conway, chair of the group who will manage the Lytle Park Hotel.
Thank you, Kyla. I'm joined this morning by Mike Conway with Weingartner & Hammonds. Mike, thank you for talking with me here this morning.
Good morning, Tom.
Morning. So tell me, what has the coronavirus done to the hospitality industry?
Well, we started off with a slower decline right up to the weeks that the Ohio and most of the state governors were putting restrictions on travel and socializing, social distancing. We went from about 27% demand to about a 90-95% decline in hotel demand. So we were operating roughly somewhere around 10 occupancy points or less at each location. And that was pretty much across the country. Our new Marriott in Chandler, Arizona was a little higher than that because of spring training that was going on, but pretty much location, it was under 10% occupancy.
How have you and the Weingartner & Hammonds team handled the response to this historic shutdown?
It was certainly unprecedented. Anything we've had to deal with in the past. Of course, 9/11, it took 3 or 4 years to recover from the 9/11 impact. The Great Recession that happened in 2008, 2009, about 3.5, 4 years to recover. We've unfortunately had to furlough a lot of our staff, our great team members. And in our portfolio in the Cincinnati, in the Weingartner & Hammonds grouping, we've had to furlough about 2,000 people. That was about 25 hotels. In our overall parent company, affiliated company, Pyramid Hotel Group, we have about 100 hotels, and we've furloughed a little over 8,000 people. So very, very tough thing to do. Very tough for our staffs to do. Very tough for all of us to have to in this very small window of time, and we hope it is a 60, 90-day window of time that we can bring people back to work and open these hotels.
Yeah, so Mike, that kind of brings me to my next question, which is Cincinnati had seen a lot of hotel development in the past decade, kicked off by the Phelps opening downtown project that you worked on. What do you see happening to hotel development in Cincinnati as this pandemic subsides?
I think in Cincinnati, and I think in most major markets across the country, only hotels that really have excellent locations. In our business, it's been location, location, location. If you got a great location, you're going to do well. You'll be able to weather the storm when downturns do occur. We do see Cincinnati continuing its development, but it will be at a slower pace. There were over 1 million hospitality jobs open in the United States prior to this downturn. So the industry was being stressed, and the amount of people that were available to work. I think that will balance out as we go through this crisis. But we will recover. We will return to normal. It's just, will that be a U-shaped recovery, or a V-shaped recovery, which I hope. And that with all the stimulus that the federal and state governments are doing, I do see that when we come out of this, we do get some clear signs that people can travel again and go to their favorite restaurants, their bar, the entertainment venues, the arts venues, that we'll see a recovery.
Yeah. Now, Mike, you had a hotel project, the Lytle Park Hotel in downtown Cincinnati. Tell us about how close were you guys to opening when this pandemic hit?
Certainly, Tom. We were a week away, just completing Marriott training. Wonderful team of people that we have at the Lytle Park Hotel. It's a beautiful hotel, situated in a historic district, as you know, in downtown Cincinnati. The team was ready. We were making final, preparations for opening. We were ready to go. The hotel has some unique features that are different than any hotel downtown Cincinnati. We have a Four Seasons rooftop. It's called Vista. So 12 months out of the year, we'll be able to have different events and wedding receptions, etc. We have a lot of different meeting venues within the hotel. Sapito Restaurant, which is our Northern Italian Mediterranean flair restaurant and bar. The hotel is, the team was ready to go, but we'll get there as we start seeing this thing clear up a little bit. We'll see fit to finally open it. It'll be a great gem for the Cincinnati area.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when things get back to a little bit of normalcy, and would love to help let our viewers know about that hotel when it opens. So hopefully we can connect again.
Great, Tom.
Great, Mike. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Kyla, back to you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Well, it was on this broadcast last week we broke the news about 3CDC's gift card match program selling out in less than a day. Well, now the developer is trying to raise money to do it again. 3CDC partnered with Procter & Gamble and the Empower Media Agency. Here's how it worked. You brought a gift card to a downtown business. They bought another one in the same amount from a different business. So you get a 2-for-1. And both businesses were able to see an influx of cash.
Well, when they announced this, I think we sold $2,000 in gift cards yesterday, which is great. It helps, and that's a big deal.
2 more local businesses are doing something similar. Woods Hardware and Urban Sites are buying $5,000 worth of gift cards from local restaurants, and they'll be giving them away to customers who like and share a promotional post on Facebook. There's a way to help restaurants in Northern Kentucky, too. If you buy a gift certificate for at least $50, you can submit a picture or scan your receipt to the Chamber of Commerce. That restaurant then has a chance to win a $1,000 grant. Well, Fifth Third Bank is going on a hiring spree. It's hiring 1,000 people in retail banking, mortgage support, and operations. A significant number of them will be right here in Cincinnati. Pay starts at $18 an hour and includes a benefits package. Well, you've no doubt noticed the precautions that stores are now taking. There are limits at places like Kroger, Costco, and Remke. Kroger is cutting its capacity in half. They have technology in place to count the number of customers going in and out of stores. And stores had already installed plexiglass barriers at cash registers, and employees are wiping down each cart a customer touches. In Kentucky, Governor Andy Beshear signed an order allowing only 1 person at a time per household inside stores. The Norwood Police Department got a shipment of essential items this past week: toilet paper, water bottles, disinfectant wipes, and all of it came from one man who used his bonus from Kroger to buy all the supplies.
I just feel like, do something for them because they've been, just hardworking like everybody else. So I want to make sure, I got something to give back to the community.
What a wonderful gesture. And here's another one. Get this. Someone paid for every senior's groceries at 44 Kroger stores in Atlanta on Wednesday. The receipts were signed Atlanta Angel. That Angel, you see him here, actor and producer Tyler Perry. He did the same thing at 29 grocery stores in New Orleans. Love to see those stories. Well, up next on First Financial Biz Beat, amateur highlights professionally done.
Brady Thrash with a scoop to the hoop. It's good at the buzzer. An incredible finish as Lakota beats Hamilton.
You would think that was an NBA game. Well, a familiar voice is lending his talents to your home videos. Welcome back to First Financial Biz Beat. We want to take a second to honor Mary Gardner, another one of our 40 Under 40 honorees. She's the Executive Director of Girls on the Run Cincinnati. Well, Ohio's primary is just over 2 weeks away, but you will need to act now in order to vote. You can only vote after filling out an application to request an absentee ballot. This is very important. You can do that online through the phone or pick one up at certain Kroger locations. Then you'll have to put it in the mail, and you have until April 25th to request a ballot. Don't wait, because since this has never been done before, we really don't know how long it'll take to get that ballot in your hands. If you can't receive mail or you have a qualifying disability, you can vote in person at the Board of Elections on April 28th. Well, times are tough for sports fans, and that's especially true for sports casters, so they're getting creative.
Cycling history is being made as 4-year-old Evie Mayleben powers her Frozen Edition Huffy without training wheels for the first time. Evie Mayleben conquers Harrisburg Hill.
Does that guy sound familiar? Well, it's Dan Horde, the voice of the Bengals and the Bearcats. He came up with Horde Makes the Call, where he does the play-by-play over video clips sent to him by fans on Twitter. It's anything from basketball to homemade obstacle courses.
You're watching American Ninja Warrior, and this is 3-year-old Felix Lepovsky, nicknamed Felix the Cat, as he looks to survive the quarantine gauntlet designed by his mom, Holly. Hopefully it gives that person a little bit of a keepsake, and it gives everybody else a little bit of a chuckle.
Love to see that as well. Well, banks across the country are being flooded with applications from small businesses seeking money through the Paycheck Protection Program. But there are several things owners need to be mindful of. First Financial's SBA sales manager, Jeff McGinnis, talked about the program with Courier publisher Jamie Smith.
Thank you, Kyla. I want to thank you, Jeff, for being on the show today. I know you're probably a little busy right now with all the loan activity.
Absolutely.
When did you begin getting the PPP request, and how would you say it's going so far?
Well, so far, we started Friday night officially taking applications on our website at bankatfirst.com with a pretty automated process. Within the first couple of hours, we actually had almost 500 applications, believe it or not. And our latest numbers are, as of this morning, Thursday morning, 6,800 applications were taken for over $1.3 billion. And overall, the process has been going quite well. We've had a few, situations with individual clients where maybe they had some trouble getting into the system, or something didn't get loaded up right that they wanted to load up for their supporting documents. But other than that, it's gone very well.
Great. Did you feel like you guys had a pretty good start? I know I've heard from several banks and several small business customers that early on the application kind of kept changing and people weren't 100% what they needed to have done. Did you find that was the case?
Actually, because we waited until Friday night to go online, the final application had been provided by SBA at that point. Whereas there were a couple of days before that the application had been posted by the Treasury, but it wasn't the application that we ended up with. It had not been finalized yet. So we kind of took our time to try to make sure that the information was accurate. So fortunately, when we finally got ready to put it online, we had the right one.
Good. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about exactly who is eligible for this loan? And then once they get this loan, what all can it be used for? I know it's some criteria in there, but can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. So it's for small businesses primarily, and it's usually for businesses that have less than 500 employees. Now, there's some specific rules that exempt certain situations, but overall, that's going to cover the majority of the small businesses we see every day. Independent contractors. So if you're a 1099 employee or contractor, you're eligible as well, and self-employed individuals are eligible. The other one that's most people don't realize is nonprofits are also eligible, primarily 501c3 corporations. And there was a lot of questions very early on about, well, is a church eligible or not? And that was confirmed last Friday night, actually. So churches are actually eligible as well.
Oh, excellent. I serve on the board of a few nonprofits. I know the Flying Pig Marathon here in Cincinnati, which is a pretty big deal. I know we were having discussions early last week about, hey, is this something we qualify for? Should we be looking into this? And I know they did, so that's great to hear. So tell me, what else is First Financial doing to help small business clients at this time? I know it's a crazy time like we've never seen before.
No doubt about that. Well, in addition to that, and we started this actually probably a week to 10 days before the payment protection or paycheck protection program came out, as it's called, or PPP, when you hear that phrase. We started doing some payment relief efforts for our existing client base, offering to defer payments in various ways. Sometimes it was, go to interest only, or sometimes it might be a full deferment of payments. We offered that across our book of business, and they can actually go to the website and there's a special click through for that. But there is one thing I do want to mention that not a lot of people are hearing about, and that is the SBA was directed in this act with $17 billion behind it, that if you are an SBA loan customer today of any bank, so it doesn't have to be us, if you have a loan existing, you can get the principal, interest, and any associated fees paid for you by the government for the next 6 months. And that's really important to know. And that covers all of the SBA program, including what's known as a 504 loan. So what I've been recommending folks is make sure whether your loan is with us or not, get in contact with your bank because they need to know about that. We actually sent out letters yesterday to all of our client base to let them know about it, as well as how we were going to administer that process for them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I know that we had some comments from your CEO, Archie Brown, in a story yesterday, and he seemed to feel like he was very optimistic that customers would be seeing these loans, see these funds come in within a week or two. Does that still seem to be the case, that you guys are feeling pretty confident?
Yes, we are feeling confident that we'll be able to actually get dollars out, hopefully today, for folks. I've even seen some correspondence this morning finalizing that process. That was delayed a little bit, mostly because under the SBA program, they want us to use either a specific note, or in certain situations, we can use our own promissory note. For this program, we had not gotten much guidance until about Tuesday as to what was going to be allowed. And they finally did come out and give us guidance on that so that we could we could come up with a note and move forward. So we're happy to report that dollars should be flowing out the door as early as today.
Excellent. Well, as always, we want to thank you, Jeff. We want to thank First Financial for your support, not only to the Business Courier, but to all the businesses in Cincinnati. You're a great corporate citizen, and we want to thank you for your time today, for being on the show.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Kyla, back to you.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, up next on First Financial BizBeat, the effect this pandemic is having on the arts and how they're trying to combat it. The coronavirus pandemic has drastically changed life for us here in America, and that includes Greater Cincinnati's arts scene. And it could be months, even years, for local groups to recover. Here to talk about that is Alicia Kentner, President and CEO of ArtsWave. Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Kyla. It's a challenging time.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so let's talk about that as far as arts are concerned. How has this crisis impacted the local arts sector?
Well, we are estimating that there will be revenue losses greater than $30 million if arts activities can't resume over the summer. And it's not just canceled performances and events, but it's also school contracts, venue rentals, summer camps, so many things that you we all just take for granted. The cafes at our museums, retail outlets. The arts were really among the first industry groups to be affected by the ban on mass gatherings and the complete shutdown of our normal arts activity.
You're absolutely right. Last week on this very show, we talked about how artists are looking for ways to still engage in art. So this is a wide-reaching impact for us, especially in Cincinnati, which is such an arts-loving town. Why does ArtsWave refer to this pandemic as a double whammy for the arts?
Well, it couldn't have come at a worse time because we were only about halfway through our 2020 ArtsWave community campaign. And this is our annual tradition in Greater Cincinnati that goes back to 1949 of asking the public to support the arts. It's the primary way that we aggregate arts funding in our community. This year's goal is $12.4 million. And today we're about 66% of the way there. So about $8 million in hand, but a long way to go. And that really inevitably means that we'll have to reduce our support for arts in our next grant making cycle, which is the double whammy because their earned revenue has been so completely stopped and the restart is just unknown. So we're continuing to ask those people in our community who are in a position to give and help that this is the moment now more than ever to come together and support the ArtsWave campaign.
Absolutely. And Alicia, since the crisis is impacting our entire country, how does Cincinnati's arts sector compare to other regions in terms of the ability to recover?
Well, the good news is that we've had great stability in our arts sector for the last number of years through a shoring up of resources coming out of the recession, a commitment to community first that all of our arts organizations have adopted. And that will help to mitigate some of this turbulence. We're coming into it from a strong place. Having said that, Cincinnati doesn't have a large private foundation like the Lilly Endowment in Indianapolis or the Heinz Endowment in Pittsburgh. So we really are dependent on the community coming together to support the arts and restart the arts. So that means individuals, our family foundations, of course, our very generous business sector, all coming together in this time.
Thank you so much, Alicia. Such important information there. And we'll have more information as well on our website about how folks can get involved and help ArtsWave at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us today for First Financial Biz Beat. For business news around the clock, visit thebusinesscourier.com. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Facebook and sign up for our daily emails. I'm Kyla Woods. Have a great weekend.